POV, you just made $50 million. 8 years. One company, 3 near failures. You're 34. You have more money than your family will spend in 5 generations. The problem with having everything is the question that follows. You've bought everything on the list. The watch, the car, the apartment, the jet. None of it fixed the thing you thought it would fix. You go for a walk early. Before the city wakes up, you pass a man sleeping on a bench. He has 1 bag. That's everything. You reach into your jacket. You have $10,000 in cash from yesterday's withdrawal. You leave it in his bag. You walk away fast. You feel something you haven't felt in years. You go home. You don't sleep. You sit at the table and think for 3 hours. What if you did it properly? What if you did it on purpose? 10 envelopes, $100,000 each, 10 strangers, completely random. No cameras, no conditions, no asking what they'll do with it. You call your bank. They think you're being robbed. The cash arrives in a case. $1 million looks like nothing in a briefcase. You count out 10 envelopes. You hold one. You feel the weight of it. You don't tell anyone, not your assistant, not your lawyer, not your friends. You walk outside with $1 million in a backpack. The city has no idea. Rule 1, the first 10 strangers you meet, no cherry picking, no changing your mind. You pass 40 people in the first block. None of them feel right. Then you remember that's not the point. You turn a corner. The street changes, less glass, more brick. And there he is. Stranger number 1. He's been sweeping that same block for 20 years. You can tell by the way he moves. You walk up, you hand him an envelope. You say, "This is for you, no catch." He opens it on the sidewalk. He goes completely still. He doesn't say, "Thank you." He asks, "Why me?" You walk away before he can say anything else. 2 blocks later. Stranger number 2. He tries to sell you something first. You hand him the envelope instead of paying. He looks around for a camera. There isn't one. Stranger 3 is a woman in a business suit at a bus stop. She's late. You can tell. You hand her the envelope while she's looking at her phone. She almost doesn't take it. She's been scammed before. Stranger 4, a man sleeping on a bench. The same situation as the night before. You don't wake him. You place the envelope where he'll find it. 6 more envelopes, 6 more strangers. You keep walking. You don't know it yet, but 2 of these envelopes will change lives forever, and 1 will cause a crisis. Stranger 5, a single mother outside a school gate. 3 kids. 1 is crying. She doesn't see you at first. She's wiping her kid's face. When she stands up and you hand her the envelope, she thinks it's for the school. She opens it. She doesn't cry. She goes somewhere inside herself for 10 seconds. Then she comes back. She looks at you. She says, "My rent." Stranger 6, a busker outside a subway entrance. Guitar case, not many coins. He's good. Actually good. No one is stopping. You put the envelope in the guitar case. He doesn't see you do it. He stops playing, picks it up, reads it 3 times. Stranger 7. A taxi driver eating breakfast in his cab, windows fogged. You knock on the window. He thinks you want a ride. You slide the envelope through the window gap. You walk away fast. Stranger 8. This one almost doesn't happen. She's an older woman. She sells homemade food from a cart. No sign, no permit. You buy a container of food first. It costs $3. It's the best thing you've eaten in months. She refuses the envelope. She points at her cart and says, "I already have what I need." You stand there for a while. You buy another container of food. 1 envelope left. You walk for 20 minutes and find no one. Then you find him at the park. A child, maybe 8, selling water bottles from a cooler. He's been there since 7 a.m. He tells you this while handing you a water. You look at the envelope. You look at the child. You think about the rules. You give it to him. You explain it like you'd explain anything to an 8-year-old. He asks, "Are you a superhero?" You walk away from the park with an empty backpack. All 10 are given. You go home. You sit in the same chair. You feel completely different. Now you wait. Day 1. You hear nothing. Day 3. You start to wonder. Day 7. You do something you promised you wouldn't. You start looking. You find the first one by accident. It's not what you expected. Day 14. You find the second one. Day 22. You hire a private investigator. The experiment is now an obsession. 3 days later, he comes back with files. 10 files. You open the first file. The janitor. He worked for 2 more weeks, gave proper notice. His last day, he swept that street one final time. He took his wife to see their grandchildren in another country. They hadn't been able to afford it. File 2. The teenager. He didn't spend $1 for 30 days. File 3. The professional woman. She quit her job 14 days later. File 4. The sleeping man. He used it like a ladder. One step at a time. File 5. The single mother. She didn't tell her kids for a week. File 6. The busker. He recorded 4 songs in a real studio for the first time in his life. File 7. The taxi driver. The first thing he did was call his daughter. She thought something was wrong. File 8. The old woman who refused. She got the permit. She's been waiting for that permit for 9 years. She used the interaction, not the money, to finally do it. File 9. The child. His mother didn't believe him at first. She used it to move their family out of the room they'd shared for 6 years. The child still goes to the park, still sells water bottles on weekends. File 10. You open it. You close it. You need a minute. The 10th stranger. The man from the bench you left the envelope under his hand. He didn't wake up that morning. He died with $100,000 in his hand. He never knew it was there. You sit with that for a while. Then you look at the other 9 files, and you think about what you have. You make a decision. You're going to find them, not to take credit, not to check in, to continue. The teenager with the business plan, you want to know what's in that notebook. The busker's EP, you want to hear it. You listen to all 4 songs. They're extraordinary. You call the PI again. You need one more thing from each of them. You say, I know, do it anyway. 2 days later, a problem. The professional woman, she's suing her former employer. She needed money to afford the lawsuit. The envelope gave her that. Her former employer is a large company. Lawyers are getting involved. You're not involved, but you feel involved. Then the teenager's plan gets complicated. He's 16. He can't sign the contracts. He needs an adult co-signer. His parents could sign, but they don't understand what he's doing, and they're scared of the money. The experiment had a rule, no contact. But the teenager is stuck because of your envelope. You pick up the phone, you put it down, you pick it up again, you don't call him, you call someone else. You make an anonymous donation to the incubator's under 18 program. You name no names. The rule stays intact. The help arrives from a direction no one can trace. Week 3. The lawsuit makes the news. The woman wins a preliminary motion. Week 4. The janitor sends a postcard. It arrives at his old building. He doesn't know who left him the envelope. He's thanking the sidewalk. Day 30. You lay all 9 files out on the floor. You start drawing connections. Not in the money, in the decisions. The janitor retired on his terms. The teenager invested in an idea. The mother erased fear. Every single person used the money for something they already wanted but couldn't reach. The money didn't change what they wanted. It removed the reason they couldn't have it. The woman who refused understood this before you did. She was the control group. You think about the 10th file, the man on the bench. Timing is also a variable. The same envelope, the same morning, and one person never got to use it. That's the part of the experiment no one talks about, the ones who don't get to use their window. You fold up the map, you keep it, you start writing. Money is not the destination, it's the removing of distance. The people who already had no distance, like the old woman, had no use for it. And the ones who never get to use the window, that part doesn't fit in a theory. It just is. You close the notebook, you open it one more time, and write one last thing. 6 weeks after the morning, the professional woman wins her case. The teenager gets accepted into the incubator's under-18 program. His parents sign. The janitor's wife sends a second postcard from a different city. The busker's EP gets picked up by a small music blog. 3,000 plays. The single mother's oldest child starts school. She takes a photo. The sleeping man's envelope was claimed. By a sister no one knew he had. He never knew about it. She didn't know about it. And somehow it still found its way. You had a theory about money and human nature. The experiment tested it. The results are more complicated than the theory. Human nature isn't good or bad. It's specific. Everyone has a door they can't open. Money is sometimes a key. You have $49 million left. You're already thinking about the next morning. Follow Empire Vault for part 2.